I'm Savannah, and this is Sewing with Savannah. Today I'm going to teach you lesson 1, learning how to set up your sewing machine and how it works. Okay. First, I'd like to start off by saying that every sewing machine is a little bit different. First, we're going to start off putting the paddle flat on the ground and plugging it in the machine. And turning on the machine, which will have a switch on the side. Most have a light that'll come on. Next, sewing is 2 threads intersecting each other through the fabric to hold the fabric together. So you're going to have 2 different threads, a small spool and a large spool, okay? And to make the small spool, you're going to thread through the small spool, starting from the inside, going to the outside, just a little bit, okay? And you're going to put it on the spool pin on your sewing machine. Make sure that you keep hold of the thread. You're going to push it to your right until it clicks, and now the machine will run off to that. Then we'll put my foot on the pedal and start to crank it. Make sure that you hold on, keep a hold of this thread. Once that's done, it'll end up looking like this. Okay? Now putting the small spool into the machine, you'll take off the safety guard, which would be over it. Some might open up from the inside here after you take off your case. Mine goes from the top. You're going to want to put it in to where it's counterclockwise. You're going to put it in. You're going to take the thread, push it over through the metal piece and back up to your left. And just leave it sit there, and we'll finish that later on. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and actually thread the rest of the machine. You're going to set your big spool, which is going to be your main one. It's going to go, most of them will have directions on top of them because it'll be a little bit different. Okay, you're going to take this piece through here and back up, and then it'll go this way, back through here, then it'll come back down and back up, and then around the little clip part here, which will be number 3, down to number 4. After you get to number 4, you'll have to take it back behind the actual needle where it'll come back through. Then you're going to go ahead and feed in the thread through the needle tip. To make it more easier, I always clip the end of it so that it's not as shaggy on the end of the thread, and you just feed it through the needle, hold that tight, and put it underneath the leg of the machine. You're going to want to make sure that the leg is up, which will have like a little switch in the back to move it up and down. We want to keep it up for now. After you have that done, we're going to go ahead and thread these 2 together so that we can start doing it. You can do that by cranking through the machine, and it should wrap your gray thread, which is a bigger spool, around the other one, and then you can pull both of them or keep twisting, and it'll grab hold of the one thread and actually pull it out to the top. So it'll come out through the other one underneath the leg, and then you just pull it out as well. Sometimes you might need to push it out with something. You can't get your fingers in there. Okay. We have both the gray and the black, both the bottom and the big spool are through now. Now you can put the safety guard back on. Make sure that's good. Or this back on. Now, you're going to want to make sure that the leg is always up before you put your fabric in when you're sewing. Make sure that you always check your dials to make sure that it is the right type of stitch that you want. These bigger ones are for buttons. These are all straight. These are the rigid ones, and just depending on what you're doing, you'd want different ones for certain things. That's the basic of how to set up your sewing machine and how it works. This concludes the end of lesson 1. Thanks.